This is your ultimate stop for everything sports. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Should I say more? From the NFL, MLB, the NBA to MMA, it's all in here. The Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Listen now.
Thank you for listening to the Golden State Media Concept Sports Podcast, where we discuss all of the news in the world of sports. My name is Ben.
And I'm Pauline.
Back here on a Monday, leading you into your traditional work week. It is January 30th. It's already a month through 2017. I feel like we're just a day through. Time flies.
The year's already over.
They always say, like, as you get older, but I mean, I feel like it's as you get busier.
Yeah, because you're getting, as you get older, you get a lot busier, and
we're just a couple of days away from the first month of 2017 gone already.
Yeah, truly.
I mean, it feels like
I scheduled an appointment the other day, and it's like in March, because she's like, oh, in 6 weeks, and that'll be March 10th, and I was like, what?
Yeah,
already?
February is such a short month.
That's true.
28, right? Because 29 was last year with the leap year, so 28. It's like, wow, man, like. Time just goes by so quickly.
So fast. But
yesterday was the Pro Bowl of all things.
Yes.
I've been waiting for that for my whole entire life, every single year. But
whole entire life, every year.
But no, I mean, the Pro Bowl yesterday, 20-13, the AFC defeats the NFC.
Yes.
Your co-MVPs are Travis Kelce at 36 yards and a touchdown. He gave us a Salt Bay touchdown celebration.
Oh, yes.
I've seen a lot of people in soccer start doing that within the past couple of weeks. So
everybody does, I don't...
I like it, sticking with the trendy...
No, but I think it's just funny what things become trends. Like, you know?
Like a guy sprinkling
just
salt on steaks.
Yes, he's just salting.
That guy's like super famous.
He opened up a restaurant.
Even before that video came out, though.
That is true.
Really famous in Dubai and stuff. But so, Travis Kelce, 36 yards and a touchdown, as well as Lorenzo Alexander. He had 9 tackles, an interception right at the end of the game, which he lateraled to Aqib Talib. And Kirk Cousins chasing him down literally from like 80 yards out to try and force a fumble, which he did. Kirk Cousins has like $100 million practically on the line because he's going to be probably re-signed by the Redskins or franchise tagged for $25 million. But if he signs a long-term deal, it's going to be like upwards of $100 million. So risking all that in basically a meaningless game, I guess you can say what it kind of meant to him, just sort of that winning and victorious mentality. But so the AFC do win the game 20-13, really a low-scoring game, something you would not normally see in the Pro Bowl. I watched only the last, 5 minutes of this game.
Yeah, I watched just, the ending of it. I was at work.
I was watching the Royal Rumble, WWE
Royal Rumble.
Yes. I'm a big WWE guy.
It's growing on me. Because I'm trying to figure out what's the big hype, but now it's growing on me.
I'm a huge WWE guy, so I was watching wrestling really from about 3:30 until about 8 o'clock at night. So I watched, the last 5 minutes of this game. I turned it on, and I was like, at the time it was 20-10. Oh, I was like 20-10. Like, wait, what?
Well, and I when I got home from work and I flipped it on and I saw the score, I was like, oh, I still have a lot of game left. I thought I was going to just catch the end part of it, and I was like, wait a second, it's the fourth quarter, it's almost over, and I was like, okay.
And these players were actually playing really competitive. I mean, the AFC. I remember one play, there were 3 guys that got to Kirk Cousins at one time. Really chippy. I mean, it wasn't just like the last couple of years where you see the Pro Bowl where these guys are practically just standing there talking to each other while the quarterback throws into the wide receiver. So
I know. I
guess they were kind of, I don't want to say going for it, but they were
taking it more serious.
Taking it a little more serious, which is honestly a good thing in my eyes. I've always thought the Pro Bowl is one of those games that it kind of is what it is.
Yeah.
Don't really expect much. Game for the fans.
It's just for fun. Yeah.
Get some autographs, get some pictures during practices. It was in Orlando, so you have Disney World there.
Yeah.
You have Universal Studios in Orlando, which is big. So kind of like a little vacation where you can kind of
and just have a game. Yeah.
Right? So I always felt like it was kind of is what it is. But then this year they've added a lot more of the skills competitions and stuff.
Right, which was fun.
Yeah, they had the dodgeball
before
the weekend, which was cool. I like to see a little maybe revise a little bit, maybe some tournament styles as opposed to just one game, maybe add more to it. But it is only the first year, so they can still kind of develop it and push it along going forward. But so I guess all in all, I honestly call it a successful weekend because I really didn't expect it with the Pro Bowl. I really don't expect much, but I just
appreciate it that it doesn't make the wait seem so long to the Super Bowl.
Right.
So,
and I kind of appreciated it. It was kind of it is what it is, but it was kind of something better than I thought it would have been. So I guess that's good. But we do have the Super Bowl coming up, of course, as you mentioned. But honestly, we had some big news in the NFL yesterday as well.
Yeah, a lot of moves.
2 GM openings in San Francisco and in Indianapolis are now filled. We'll start off with Pauline's 49ers.
Yes.
They are going to hire former safety with the Buccaneers, did some work with the Broncos as well, and he's most recently been a commentator and analyst for Fox. That is John Lynch. They're expected to hire him. Well, not expected. They have hired him on a 6-year deal to become the 49ers general manager. It's expected that next week they will hire Kyle Shanahan, who's currently the offensive coordinator in Atlanta. This has been rumored literally for the last couple of weeks. There's probably a 99% chance that Kyle Shanahan is going to be the next head coach in San Francisco. But that, of course, can't become official until he's done with his duties with the Falcons, which will conclude on Sunday in the Super Bowl. So I'd imagine next week this will be announced probably pretty early.
Right.
But so they are going to hire John Lynch as their general manager. A 6-year deal. John Lynch does not have any front office experience, no coaching experience, really nothing. Just a longtime player, went to college at Stanford, went into the commentary booth with Fox right after he retired, and is now stepping right into the front office in San Francisco. Pauline, this is your team. So I'll start with you before I get my thoughts.
Okay.
What do you think of the hire?
I think it'll be interesting because, like you said, not having too much experience in the front office is going to... I mean, I don't know. Because some transitions are okay, but then you get the whole... I'm trying to figure out how to say this without one sounding... Sometimes the transition can be okay. But then without any experience... And with a team that's kind of... But then, okay, like I said, we're trying to figure it out, though. So maybe taking a chance isn't that big of a deal. Because when you're trying to restructure and get new things moving and try something new, then let's just try everything new. But then I also think when you are trying something new, having some experience in the front office is better. So we'll see. We'll see how he does.
I think in the NFL, I'd say probably 3 franchises are pretty much a mess right now. I'd say one of them's Cleveland. I'd say one of them is Indianapolis, who they have a new GM. We'll talk about that after this one.
Right.
And the other one is San Francisco.
Right.
The Niners are going to be on their 4th head coach in 4 years.
Yeah.
So they're now bringing in Kyle Shanahan, which I honestly like the move. I love the move. I felt like he is a perfect fit for the style that the NFL is going at right now. They're going young. They're going offensive. Kyle Shanahan's both those things. Has obviously a Super Bowl winning dad in Mike Shanahan, so he can get some sort of tutelage from him, sort of behind the scenes a little bit.
Sure.
And he's proven himself as an offensive coordinator. He's in the Super Bowl with Matt Ryan having his best year, leading this offense and calling the plays. So I think that's a good move. But now you bring in a guy like John Lynch, it's kind of making me scratch my head a little bit. So I was watching wrestling, as I mentioned. I see on my phone yesterday that the Niners are hiring John Lynch. And I'm like, wait, what?
Right.
So this team has interviewed practically everyone in the whole entire United States for this GM job, and everyone's turned it down, which does not surprise me. This is a team last year that had 2 wins, and they beat the same team, the Rams, both times. So really, they beat one team in the whole NFL last year. They don't have much going for them at all. I can't name one player on their team that I would take on my team to start my franchise around. Literally no one. So they don't have much players. And it's just, the organization is a mess.
Right.
4th coach in 4 years. The owner, Jed York, is kind of one of those guys that wants to control everything. You have a brand new stadium that you can't get people into.
I know.
And now you bring in a guy like John Lynch who has no experience. For me, I hope he does well.
Sure.
But this kind of spells recipe for disaster for me. Because
when you're trying to, that's what I'm saying, like when you try to rebuild or restructure, having some people with experience to get out of a slump and onto the right track is very helpful. But then, I don't know, maybe they're trying the whole, let's bring in all new guys and let's just all start fresh together.
So I guess John Lynch did call up Kyle Shanahan last week and said, I wanted to be a part of this, and they already have a good relationship and chemistry. So I guess that's a good thing, because normally when you hire a coach before a GM, it doesn't necessarily work out. They did that here in Sacramento with the Kings when Vivek Ranadive took over. They hired Michael Malone, who's a decent coach. He's coaching the Nuggets right now. And then they hired their GM, and they never really coexisted. And they're both gone within the last 4 years when Ranadive took over the team. So I feel like when you hire a coach before a GM, it doesn't work out. So if you're going to have a relationship already between Shanahan and Lynch, then that's a good thing. But for me, you're hiring them both on 6-year deals.
Yeah,
That is a long time. You're basically saying that you're not going to do what you have done the last 3 years, and that is get rid of the coach within a year or two. Chip Kelly lasted 1 year. Jim Tom Sula lasted 1 year. Jim Harbaugh should be the coach still. He's a fantastic football coach, but he and Trent Baalke never really coexisted. But now they're both gone. So you're hiring both these guys on a 6-year deal. What happens after 2, maybe 3 years if you don't see any progress in the team? Do you get rid of both of them? Do you get rid of one of them? Because you're going to have to pay one or both those guys for the remaining 3 years on that deal.
Right.
So you're basically committing to saying that you're going to give them 3-4 years at least, because you
have to
these monster contracts.
Right.
I would never do a 6-year deal. I'd say at the most I would do 4, at least for starting, and then obviously if they do well, you can extend them.
It. Yep.
You can always extend them, but you can't terminate it early and not have to not pay them. So I don't think it's a good move in that regard. I'm hoping John Lynch does great. Good analyst, good guy with Fox, great football player. He's a smart guy. He went to Stanford, as I mentioned. So I hope he does well. But this kind of spells recipe for disaster, because there's literally nothing to build around. You have the number 2 pick in the draft. Have to see where it goes there. Got to be expecting them to go quarterback at least early in the draft, at least early second, third round, second overall pick. So we'll see what happens there. So now we're switching over to look at the Indianapolis Colts, who I think is another one of the disasters in the NFL. That's probably because of their owner, Jim Irsay. But the Colts, going with something a little more traditional, they are going to hire Chris Ballard as their GM. He's formerly with the Kansas City Chiefs, part of their front office. The Chiefs have had a lot of success recently with Andy Reid, especially when it comes to drafting. About the only player on their team that is a significant contributor that was not drafted by the team is Alex Smith. They traded a second-round pick to San Francisco to get him. But with the exception of that, everyone else on their team built through the draft. Travis Kelce, Eric Berry, Marcus Peters, Dontari Poe, done good things this year with Tyreek Hill, who they drafted late round. So a lot of their team is built around draft picks. So he's coming from the Chiefs, who have a history of drafting good players. The Colts recently, not so much. With the exception of really Andrew Luck and T.Y. Hilton under the Ryan Grigson regime, they have not drafted well. So they're bringing in someone from Kansas City who I think is a good move. But here's kind of the problem with me. When Jim Irsay did fire Ryan Grigson, it was like a week and a half ago, he announced that Chuck Pagano is going to be staying the head coach. Reportedly, Chris Ballard is not really fond of Chuck Pagano as the head coach. So we have exactly what I just said with San Francisco. We have another example of where you have a head coach before a GM, and they don't coexist.
Right.
This does not really bode well for the Colts. So maybe Jim Irsay and Chris Ballard give Chuck Pagano 1 year. He already said he's going to be the head coach. I don't see him turning back now because Ballard wants to make up something totally different. So I'd say maybe he gets 1 year, see how it works out, and then probably gets the hook next year and Ballard brings in his own guy. But this is another example of where you bring in a coach before a GM and it just does not coexist, and it kind of just spells recipe for disaster. I feel like the Colts are the Cleveland Browns with Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
I mean, they have Andrew Luck, who's fantastic. Without Andrew Luck, they're a
Yeah.
2-win team.
Yeah.
They ended up going 8-8 this year. Without Andrew Luck, they're a 2-win team. They have T.Y. Hilton, who's a decent receiver, but I feel like a lot of that is in part because of how good Andrew Luck is.
Right.
So we'll have to see how this goes. But I guess it's a more traditional pick, a guy who's had front office experience, a guy with Kansas City who's done really, really well. So I guess that's a really, really good idea. With that being said, we'll take our first break on the show. After the break, we're going to be talking about the Australian Open. This weekend, we had kind of a flashback.
Yeah, fun.
Turning back the clocks with Serena Williams and Venus Williams in the women's final, and then Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal in the men's finals. Talk about how that went right after the break here at the Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Welcome back into the Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. We're going to switch over to talk about tennis. Something doesn't get talked too much about on the show, but we did have the first Grand Slam tournament of 2017, the Australian Open Down Under in Melbourne, Australia. We talked about it on Friday. The finals were the Williams sisters against Nadal and Federer on the men's side.
Yeah.
And really just like kind of like a flashback. I think of the Williams sisters' battles in Wimbledon. And then you think of Nadal and Federer. They seemed like they always battled the French Open on the clay. Which Nadal really dominated pretty much. But kind of like a throwback of really 5-6 years ago in tennis, this would have been the final. And now you would have normally seen something like, maybe Serena would still be there, of course, but maybe against Angelique Kerber, or on the men's side, maybe you would have seen Murray versus Djokovic, or maybe Federer against Djokovic. Nadal kind of dealing with some injuries lately, and then Federer just kind of catching up with old age.
Right.
But nevertheless, we had those two finals.
I know.
It was great. It was fantastic. I loved it. I said on Friday I expected Serena to win on the women's side, which she did.
Right.
And I would have expected Federer to win on the men's side, which he did.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about the women's one first. That was, of course, Saturday morning. I guess like really early in the morning, midnight around here. Because
it was kind of like
the time is so.
Anthony and I, we were discussing it on Thursday, and after the show, and he and I both, I was like, "It's tonight," and he's like, "No, it's tomorrow." I'm like, "Well, tonight, tomorrow." Like
technically tomorrow, but really in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
So I guess yeah, but. So Venus ends up losing to her sister Serena 6-4, 6-4. So Serena now 23 major opens. That's the most in the Open era.
Yes.
And it only puts her one behind the all-time lead of 24. So she's probably going to pass that, really. For her to be so dominant.
I know.
At 36 years old. Normally at 36 you're done. In whether it be tennis, with the exception of maybe...
I was going to say a lot of sports, actually.
Really, all of them, with the exception of maybe playing quarterback. Brady's 39.
Okay.
With the exception of maybe quarterback.
And a sprinkled in ball player, basketball player. Okay. Sprinkled in.
And baseball maybe a little bit. Like David Ortiz was 40 last year, had arguably his best statistical season. Although it is just a DH, so you'll just hit
mid-30s, you're discussing and deciding what we're doing afterwards.
Exactly, but it is totally the opposite with Serena.
I know, Serena's...
She's still on top of the game. She might be technically ranked second in the world, but I still take her over anyone else now in tennis.
Yes.
23 Grand Slam titles. Going to be going for the all-time record if she wins the next two, which, honestly, very, very doable. She'll probably win Wimbledon again.
You think this year?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Even though she's getting married?
Do it eventually. Yes. The co-founder of Reddit's going to slow her down. I don't even know his name, but I just know that's who he is. I mean, that's not going to slow her down. Like she took a hiatus.
True.
Both of them did.
True.
Venus and Serena took a hiatus from tennis for like 4 years.
I want her to get married after she breaks the record, though, because sometimes
you really think it could be a distraction
with certain things and certain people. After you get married, first comes marriage, then comes a baby in the baby carriage. You remember. And we don't have time for this, Serena. Keep focused. Don't let him slow you down.
I really don't see that happening. They took a hiatus of like 5 years to do
True,
reality
but she
TV.
didn't have a child.
But they went and
What
did
if she has a
TV,
child?
and it didn't work? And then she comes back and it's like, okay, I'll start playing tennis again and dominate.
She has a child, and she's gonna. I feel like Serena's gonna be like such a lovey-dovey mom. She's gonna be like, oh, my whole life is all my child now, which is fine, totally fine. But sucks for the sports world, because then that would be the only thing that I think would make her be like, I have a new direction in life.
I don't think she's gonna even think about that until she's done playing tennis. And she's already kind of, she's 36 to start
that's
having
what I'm
a family.
saying.
Is already kind of late.
Exactly.
Maybe she breaks the record, retires in a year or two, and then calls it quits.
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
Give us at least 3-4 more years, Serena. We beg of you.
Then there won't be any distractions at all. I mean, at 36 years old, to completely still dominate a sport like that.
True. But then at 40 to have kids. I mean, not saying that it's that big of a deal. But I'm just saying.
She might be 40, but she looks like she's like 30.
Yeah, I was going to say she's still in
She's like
awesome
physically
shape.
still in her prime years almost.
I just hope this Reddit guy doesn't get in the way of greatness.
Yeah, I don't even know his name, but she's getting married to the co-founder of Reddit. So, I mean,
that's cool.
He's big balling himself, but...
Not Serena balling, though.
I mean, Reddit, people are on
No, he's not. He's not. I know, but he's not worth more than Serena.
I don't know.
Look, we're going to look it up at the break because
I'm
pretty sure I am going to look this up.
I know you're interested more than I am. I don't really care what he's valued at.
But he's not valued more than Serena.
I don't even know his name, but I mean, yeah, 23 major Grand Slams now, going for 24 and then 25, which I honestly do expect she'll get. And then you switch over to the men's side.
Yep.
Roger Federer, probably the best men's tennis player of all time. He picks up his 18th Grand Slam final over Nadal yesterday in a 5-set thriller. 6-4, drops the second set 3-6, and then he wins the third set 6-1. So you imagine how dominant he was in the third set, would have closed out in 4, but not so much. He loses set 4, 3-6, and then in the fifth set he wins it 6-3. So he's 35 years old too. He's kind of on the decline of his career, and it's really shown. He's like 17th in the world now. Murray and Djokovic are kind of dominating tennis right now. But it's great for Roger Federer to be able to turn back the clock one more time and get one more major. That's really what I hoped. He's been so dominant at Wimbledon. Have to see if he'll do that again this year, but so has Djokovic. And then obviously you have the hometown boy, Andy Murray, in his own country, which he was able to do last year and win that. So I guess it's going to be a little harder, but I'm glad Roger got one more.
I am. And I was thinking about that too because, after dealing with like just age, whatever, to have a good, I guess you could say like a winning year and then deciding is always nice. And that's why I was, I talked about this with Anthony on Thursday. I, in a way, was kind of vacillating in between Serena and Venus because I was thinking to myself, for Venus, however, if she would have won this one, it would have been nice to kind of start wrapping up on like one more win. And it would, how just nice it would have been for them, just if you're going to beat someone, to beat your sister one last time and then lace them up, but I mean, it's nice that Serena is building history too, of course.
Yeah, she's definitely going to go for
that would have been nice for Vanessa, or Venus, excuse me.
Yeah, I mean, Venus kind of dominated Serena in the early part of their playing careers, but
she
lately
did.
It's really been Serena pulled away. So I was not surprised that Serena...
Right.
Plus, she's been so dominant so far in Australia, really just running through everyone in 2 sets. So back on Roger Federer, though, this was his first Grand Slam title since Wimbledon in 2012, so about 4.5 years between majors for Roger Federer here. So for me, it's more about Roger. I really expected Serena to win it all. Every time she goes into the tournament, I expect her to win it all, regardless of where she's ranked or seeded or whatever.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm really just more happy for Federer that he finally got one more. And I wouldn't expect him to get another one. Kind of some fluky stuff. Murray lost early. Novak Djokovic lost early. So we got a little bit of help there. But he still pulled off some great upsets. He defeated his fellow countryman, Stan Wawrinka from Switzerland. So I'm honestly happy Roger got one more. We'll take our last break of the show. After the break, we're going to talk about some news and games within the NBA as of yesterday. We had a 4-overtime thriller between the Knicks and the Hawks. And then the Warriors were playing without Steph Curry last night. Have to see how they did against the Blazers. Talk about that and more here at the Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Don't you go away.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA. From the UFC to extreme cage fighting, they got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
So Pauline and I did some researching during the commercial break. So we did not know Serena Williams' fiance's name, so I do apologize to you.
Sorry, sir.
Alexis Ohanian. I do apologize to you.
Serena Ohanian. She's not changing her name.
She's not changing from
Definitely
Williams.
not.
And she's not going to be Williams Ohanian.
No, definitely not.
Not. You can't change your name when you're famous
It's
like
a
that.
brand. Yeah, you can't. No.
Yeah, kind of it is. But anyway, so Alexis Ohanian, the co-founder of Reddit, valued at $4.5 million. So
Which,
not too bad for himself.
I mean, I would take it. You know,
I will take any of it.
yeah, just that 0.5 would be great.
Yeah, just a $500,000. But then anyway, so Serena, approximately 97% more at $150 million. So I mean, I think it's safe to say that she'll probably be paying for dinner when they go out more often than he will. But
hey, you know,
prenup, you think?
For sure.
Definitely?
No, definitely. I don't care. If I'm making that much significantly more than actually, if I'm making anything, if I'm making like $4, I'm still
$4.
Yes. You're not taking my $4 if I only have $4.
You're not taking away my value meal at McDonald's.
No, definitely not. No, she's definitely getting a prenup. She's not changing her name.
Nah, that's not. Yeah,
she's gonna tell him we're not. Well, I mean, if it were me, I would say I'm not going to have children until I get this record, and you just would have to understand.
And I'm sure he's probably okay with that.
And I mean,
she's probably
he knows who he
knows
engaged.
what he's getting into.
Exactly. And if you were my husband, I would hope that you would encourage me to be the best that I can be, and the best that I could be would mean being these records.
Exactly.
It can be done in a year, maybe even 2. So it's not that long of a wait.
No, not at all. And obviously in between majors, really for a year, so you have them kind of in between every 2-3 months. So you have some leeway there where you can kind of get things situated, plan your wedding, maybe even get married if you want to, and then get back to the
You think they're going to do big scale, small scale? Small scale.
$150 million, it better be big scale.
But I feel like she's going to do like intimate big scale. Like we'll find out after.
They better get married on the center court of Wimbledon. I expect that. No, I'm just kidding. But probably Serena's kind of one that's not really flashy.
That's what I'm saying. Like it'll be big time, but like intimate. Like, like I said, like we won't even know. Like they might even be married already, and she's just like,
a
oh
shock
yeah,
surprise wedding that none of us.
By the
know.
way, we've been married for like 6 months, and we're like, oh,
here's a contract. She pulls it out.
She's like,
here's the papers. Okay, but anyways, we're gonna be switching over in to talk about basketball really quickly before the end of the show. As I mentioned, we had a 4 overtime thriller between the Hawks and the Knicks yesterday. The Hawks come out on top 142 to 139. The Knicks actually made it 3 sort of game-tying shots within the last 10 seconds in the fourth quarter and these overtimes. 2 of them by Carmelo. Melo ended up finishing with 45 points. He took 36 shots. He did shoot 18 of 36. We shot at 50%. Not bad. He had 6 rebounds and 4 assists for a guy who probably had the worst week of his life last week. I talked about it on Friday with Anthony. Am I traded? Am I not traded?
Yeah.
Am I going to Cleveland? Am I going to the Clippers? To Boston? I have a no-trade clause. Do I want to even waive it? Does Phil even want me here? I mean, this marriage is literally over.
Yeah.
I don't expect Carmelo Anthony to be a member of the Knicks start of next season. But he obviously does have the choice to go wherever he wants because he has a no-trade clause in there. So I guess it's a little interesting there. But as far as the game goes, Paul Millsap in 60 minutes, literally played 60 minutes, ends up with 37 points, 19 rebounds, and 7 assists. He shot 13 of 29. I mean, Dennis Schroeder chipped in with 23 points and 15 assists, so a good game for the German there. But, I mean, just 4 overtimes. You got to imagine
That's
these two teams are
that's
definitely going
long.
to be tired today. in their next
60
game.
minutes?
Yeah, Paul Millsap
Playing
played
60 minutes? That's long.
Yeah, I mean, some of
That's
the other
long.
guys I mentioned already
53
played
minutes.
55. Ken Bazemore played 50. Tim Hardaway Jr. played 58,
58.
and he shot 5 of 20.
Hey,
So, I mean,
that was a long 58.
yeah, 0-9 from the three-point line. So. He did have 19 points and 8 assists, but he did have 9 of those points from the free throw line for a guy who's kind of working his way in there with the Hawks and was formerly a member of the Knicks. So, I mean, I guess a big win for Atlanta, though, kind of one of these like emotional drag-out games. I guess it's definitely a good thing. The Thunder and Cavs were kind of like the highlight game of the day. The Cavs come out on top 107-91. Russell Westbrook did have a triple-double. He did have 20 points, 12 rebounds, and 10 assists.
Telling you.
But, I mean, look at his stat line. He shot 7 of 26.
Hey.
He took more shots than he had points.
Sure.
That's terrible.
Hey.
Hey. I mean,
This is the season to do it.
it's if James Harden does not win the MVP,
This is a season to do it.
Russell Westbrook is throwing up more shots than probably anyone in history.
That's fine.
was watching-
And they're letting him do it.
Well, of
His
course-
team is fine with it.
Of
so
course, who else do they have to shoot the ball?
Exactly.
The next highest guy shot-wise was Victor Oladipo at 6 of 18, so he's shooting pretty bad as well. They don't have Enes Kanter for the next couple of months because he decided he's going to take out his frustration on the steel chair, which obviously fought back and won because he broke his forearm.
So
I was watching some of this game yesterday. I was out at kind of like the pizza bar getting some pizza with my girlfriend,
fun.
having some drinks. And I was watching this game, and I was like, God, the Thunder are a mess.
hey.
They're just literally a mess. I mean, the Cavaliers aren't doing too well lately.
Yeah, the cat
They've been kind of
They needed
struggling.
this little win.
But, I mean, the Thunder are just a mess. Like, literally,
That's what I'm saying. If Westbrook is going to do his, make these move up the ranks as far as triple doubles are concerned, this is the year to do it because
Well, it has to be because he literally is the only player. When he did not have the ball in his hands, everyone else just looked lost. I was watching the game. It's like they had the ball and they're like, what do I do with this?
Right,
Like, I don't know what I'm doing. And then you look at the Cavaliers side. Kevin Love did leave the game early. He had some back spasms. He played 12 minutes, only had 1 point. So a guy who's had some back injuries in the past, have to see how that sort of
you got to be cautious
is
about
dealt
that.
with. But LeBron James, really good game, 25 points, 14 rebounds, and 8 assists. And you have Kyrie, 29 points and 10 assists. So the Cavaliers kind of slowly working their way back. I mean, I feel like against the Thunder, definitely a good opponent to turn it around against. I mean, the Thunder to me, they're just not a good team.
That's fine.
That's fine. How can you tell me Russell Westbrook should be the MVP over James Harden? Because he just averages triple-double?
Oh my gosh. We're going to get into this talk. And yeah.
We'll talk about
Average
it
a triple double. Yeah, we'll have to
talk about it on the basketball
We'll talk about
show.
that in
We're gonna
basketball
report
show.
that next.
Yes.
And then you look at the Warriors. They were without Steph Curry last night, out of the game with an injury. So who steps up? None other than Kevin Durant. 33 points and 10 rebounds and 6 assists. Klay Thompson also chipped in with 27 points, 6 rebounds, as the Warriors defeated the Blazers 113 to 111. So pretty close game. Something the Warriors are not really been in lately. I mean, they beat the Clippers by over 40.
Oh
over
my
the
gosh.
weekend. So
I had to double check that. I was like, this
the Clippers aren't a good team right
No,
now.
I know. But still, because my friend, I was out at a basketball game, and my friend, he told me, he's like, could you look at the score of this Clippers and Warriors game? And I was like, wait, what?
There has been times before where I've been looking at my phone and really felt like the app was lying to me.
No, truly. And that's what he said. He was like, can you check the score? Because there's no way he's like, I have to be reading this wrong. There has to be. And he was like, just check your score as well. And I was like, no, dude, this is real.
I remember over the summer of the Olympics.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Of course, we had. So actually, in that Clippers game, it was 144 to 98. So they won by 46 points. So I remember during the Olympics, I was obviously following the soccer. I do the soccer show here. Soccer's my favorite sport. So I literally, there's not a day that goes by where I don't think about soccer within 5 minutes.
Right.
It's literally, seriously. I don't think about soccer all the time. So I'm checking the scores, and I remember Germany, who are the World Cup champs, they're playing Fiji.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm at the dinner table, like I'm done eating, I'm just going to look at my phone, see what's up. And I literally see 10-1 And I'm like, okay, there's no way.
That has to be, yeah.
There's literally no way possible.
10-1.
So I click on basically the game details, and I'm looking at the scoring breakdown, and it's like, I'm kind of like exaggerating. I don't remember exactly how much they scored, but it was like 12th minute, 18th minute, 27th minute, 35th minute, 72nd minute, 79th minute. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. And I actually went to a different app.
Sometimes I'll do that.
Because I'm like, there's no way possible.
Or I'll cut like the radio on, really depending on what it is. Yeah, I'll like cut the radio on because I'm like, okay, let me hear, because they're going to announce that there was a glitch on, like, you know. But no, it happens.
That really was the case. So
right. And 144 points.
That's a lot of points.
That's a lot. That's like All-Star game, we're just throwing it up, having a dunk contest during the game type points.
Right. So, I mean, in that game, Steph Curry had 43 points. I mean, definitely doing pretty well for himself. But obviously did not play last night. But it didn't really matter. The Warriors got it done. Okay, just me, or does this look like Kevin Durant's team? Okay, it honestly reminds me exactly of when LeBron went to Miami. Everyone's like, oh, this is going to be Dwayne Wade's team. LeBron's just going to be there and really
like
chip in and help out.
Co-host, yeah.
And it was like, okay, basically the other way around. Like, this is LeBron's team with Dwayne Wade there and Chris Bosh.
Durant is slowly.
I feel like this is Durant's team already.
You know?
I really do feel that way. I mean, you saw it last night.
Well, a lot
Curry's
of people
out,
did.
Durant steps up, takes over the game.
And that's good. And I guess that's one of those things that people were arguing about last year with Steph, that it was kind of just like a one-time thing as far as season. Like, you have that one great season of your career, and that was his. So we'll see.
I feel like come playoff time,
Durant,
if the Cavs can get it right, which I think they will, I'd still give them the edge. But right now, if you told me they were starting the finals right now, I'd probably give the edge to the Warriors, because I don't think the Cavs are. They're totally not there right now.
Jumbled up right now.
I feel like come playoff time, maybe Western Conference Finals, whether it be Rockets, Spurs, NBA Finals, Cavaliers, I feel like we're going to see Durant down the stretch and not Curry.
No, yeah.
I really do. I feel like Curry's just going to stand on the three-point line and hopefully get some kickouts and knock some threes.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, he's not. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I feel like it's Durant's team.
Oh, Durant.
I mean, I just really think that's going to happen. I think it already is the case. I feel like it's already Durant's team.
That's his time to shine.
It's Christmas. It was all Durant. Curry.
True. That is very true. Well, and that's what the thing was what I was mentioning, like with the playoffs last year, like late in the season last year, was that there would be games when Steph would be so quiet, but they would still do well regardless. Like, you know, he was great, yes, but he wasn't like that absolute player where if he's out the game, then we're in shambles type thing. He wasn't that. Not saying that he's not that big of a deal, but I'm saying like you could slide somebody else into that slot, you know, and everybody else could step up. And like you were mentioning with Kevin Durant, that's what he's doing.
Exactly. I mean, he's definitely shown an effect on the Thunder. It's
different, yeah, when certain guys are missing. Like, for instance, like how you mentioned a little bit earlier in the show, you sit down and wrestle, then it's like, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? Oh, shoot.
I gotta give Westbrook credit for one thing. Okay, I love Westbrook as far as a player, fantastic player.
Sure.
But as far as like a team leader, and I mean, no.
Definitely not. No.
I put him in that Carmelo Anthony, Dwight Howard role. Like, he's never going to win a title because he's just not a good teammate. But as far as a player is concerned, fabulous player. But you see the effect that Durant leaving has had on the Thunder.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely clear. And now you have Westbrook, who's literally just
I feel like Westbrook would be hard to build around because he's I don't know. He is selfish. But he's also more selfish in the sense, like, he's selfish, I'm going to do it, versus let's be selfish and let's all win. Like, you know, like, everything is for us, like, all us, and I'm going to do the best that I can do to make sure everybody else is good. He's kind of just like, I'm just going to do me, like, whether we win, lose, whatever, I got my stats.
And to be honest, I kind of feel the same way with my MVP, James Harden. I mean, last night, not too great. They lose to the Pacers 120-101.
Yeah.
Harden had 15 points. 8 assists and 5 rebounds. He shot 3 of 17 and 2 of 10 from 3.
Oy.
I mean, just not a good day for Jamesy, but another guy I'm not really building around is James Harden.
Yeah.
But I mean, having a great season, having his best season statistically, and it's all because of D'Antoni and this sort of live and die by the 3 ball, which
Sure.
they're definitely doing. I mean, Ryan Anderson shot 5 of 9 from 3 last night, which is great, but then Eric Gordon shot 1 of 7. So, not too good. 11 of 39 as a team for 28%. This is going to end the show, though.
Yep.
Really, really good, compelling conversations, I thought. Talk some NFL, talk some tennis, talk some basketball. Of course, Pauline will be in the studio tomorrow to talk all things sports while I am away. And then on Wednesday, Anthony and I'll be in. Pauline, you'll be here Thursday with Anthony, and then Friday.
No, not this Thursday.
Oh, yeah, that's because I forgot. Pauline is going to beautiful, sunny Hawaii.
Yes. I'm going to be on an
excited.
island.
I've never been, so I'm pretty jealous.
I'll bring you back some Hawaiian air.
I need to go. I always felt that was like the stupidest thing. Oh, it's in a jar. Like,
but how funny that people actually buy it. Yes.
Or like sand. Like that's always, I feel like that was just the dumbest thing. But
Aww.
anyways, Pauline's going to be going to Hawaii, so I'm pretty jelly. But nevertheless,
so don't miss me. But I'll be here tomorrow.
It is okay. Pauline will be here tomorrow to talk all things sports here at the Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast. Thank you for listening, guys. My name is Ben.
And I'm Pauline.
And we will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good day.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Sports Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.